Have you ever wondered why professional anglers in the US spend more time on bait and chumming than on choosing a rod? The truth is, summer fishing in America isn't just waiting around, it's a true game of chess with nature. In these warm waters, a fish's metabolism skyrockets, and your feeding strategy determines whether you go home with a trophy or empty-handed. America is a land of vast lakes and rushing rivers where the rules of the game change from state to state. You might be targeting bass in Florida or massive carp in the Great Lakes, and every species requires its own menu. Today, I'll tell you how to turn your fishing spot into a 5-star restaurant for fish using proven American methods. Did you know that the sense of smell in certain species like catfish is thousands of times sharper than a dog's? They can detect a single drop of attractant in a volume of water equal to several Olympic-sized swimming pools. That's why proper summer chumming isn't about quantity, it's about the chemistry and physics of scent dispersal in warm water. Let's start with the basics, dry mixes, which we call ground bait. During the American summer, we use high-protein mixes with active particles, and it's crucial that the bait creates a vertical cloud or column of particles to grab the fish's attention from different water depths. American anglers often categorize ground baits by the type of water body, still water versus current. For lakes, we keep the mix fluffy so it breaks apart immediately upon hitting the surface or the bottom. On rivers like the Mississippi, we add heavy clay or molasses so the bait isn't washed away in seconds. The secret to summer success is the fraction or particle size. A fine fraction creates a scent cloud that lures the fish in without filling them up, forcing them to hunt for your hook. Meanwhile, large pieces of corn or pellets within the mix are there to keep the big fish on the spot once the scent has brought them in. The next vital type is pellets, or granulated feed. Pellets have become incredibly popular in America thanks to commercial fisheries where fish are raised on this food from a young age. It's a concentrated energy source that works perfectly in warm water when fish are actively seeking calories. Pellets come with different breakdown rates, which is a critical parameter in the summer. We use a pellet cocktail. Some melt in 15 minutes for an instant effect, while others work for hours. This allows you to maintain activity at the fishing spot without constant refeeding, which might spook a cautious trophy bass or carp. Another pro tip of the American style is soaking pellets in oils, such as salmon oil. Oil doesn't dissolve, it rises, creating a slick on the surface. This visual and chemical signal acts like a beacon for fish passing by your location, even from a long distance. It's impossible to imagine summer fishing in the States without grain mixes, which we call particles. Corn, hemp, and tiger nuts are classics that never fail in the heat. Grains have a natural sweetness and texture that closely mimics what fish naturally feed on this time of year. A special place is reserved for fermented corn, which many prepare themselves using secret family recipes. The fermentation process releases lactic acid and specific alcohols that fish can sense from afar. In the summer, when algae blooms, these sharp natural scents work much better than any synthetic chemicals. Hemp seed is like candy for fish, especially in clear rivers. The tiny black seeds mimic water snails or insects. Once fish start feeding on hemp, they often fall into a feeding frenzy, losing their wariness toward your hook bait. While artificial lures are huge in America, adding a live component to your chum is next level angling. Chopped worms, maggots, or krill add movement and a natural amino acid profile to the mix. Fish react instantly to the movement and the release of natural juices that simply cannot be fully replicated in a lab. In summer, we often use liquids based on krill or liver hydrolysate. These liquid additives soak into the bottom, leaving a flavor trail even after the small fry have eaten the physical bait. This is a strategy for patient hunters waiting for a true river monster to arrive. An important note, the US has strict local regulations regarding the use of live bait that vary by state. Always check the rules to ensure your fishing is not only successful, but also legal. Angler ethics is what unites us all from California to Maine. When water temperatures rise above 77 degrees, 25 degrees, scents disperse differently than in the spring. We use alcohol-based attractants that literally explode in warm water, traveling great distances. Sweet aromas like strawberry, pineapple, or scopex are American favorites for the summer season. However, don't forget the spices, chili, garlic, and robin red often save the day when things get tough. The capsaicin in peppers stimulates the fish's taste receptors and speeds up their digestion. This keeps them coming back to your bait again and again, feeling constantly hungry. My main advice for beginners: don't overcomplicate your scents. Choose one profile, for example, fruity or meaty, and stick with it throughout the session. A chaos of smells might scare off a large, cautious fish rather than attract it, making your spot look suspicious. Even the best bait in the world won't work if you present it incorrectly. In America, we often use method feeders or PVA bags for precision delivery. This puts a concentrated pile of feed right around your hook for a perfect presentation. For long distances, we use Spombs, special bait rockets that open upon impact with the water. This allows you to drop several pounds of feed over 100 yards away with surgical precision. Your feeding rhythm in the summer should be high. The fish are active and will eat everything you offer quickly. Remember the golden rule: it's better to underfeed than to overfeed. Start with small portions and watch the water. Bubbles or swirls will tell you the fish have arrived. Once you see activity, start feeding in regular small intervals to keep the school excited. Summer fishing in America is an incredible adventure that requires an understanding of fish behavior and your bait's composition. Every body of water has its own key, and your task is to find it using the knowledge I've shared today. Don't be afraid to experiment. That's how new legendary recipes are born. I hope this breakdown of bait types helps you feel more confident on the bank. Remember, the most important part of fishing is the process, connecting with nature and respecting aquatic life. Always pack out your trash and release small fish so our children can enjoy this hobby too. Thanks for joining me, and may your lines always be tight. If you have questions about specific brands or recipes, drop them in the comments below. See you on the water. Tight lines and no tail, no scale. Good luck on your next trip.